with the campaign coordinator for Revolt Against Plutocracy, Charlie Hobbs. Charlie, thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Victor. Glad to be with you.
Tell our viewers how Revolt Against Plutocracy came about. Where did this organization come from?
Well, we began as a group called Citizens Against Plutocracy, and then to give it a little bit more of a militant edge, we became pitchforks against plutocracy. And then once Senator Sanders announced his presidential run, we changed our name to the current formation of it, Revolt Against Plutocracy. On June 22nd, this past June 22nd, we launched our website. We have multiple Facebook pages. We have multiple Twitter accounts. We have a core team core committee of team members who make decisions together, about 8 of us. We also have about 17 external volunteers who help us to disseminate with our messaging online. We're a grassroots PAC. We are a PAC. We've got about 15,000 voters who have taken what we call our Bernie or Bust pledge. The URL for our website is citizensagainstplutocracy.org, and our political action committee is CAPPAC.
What exactly would you have a political action committee for? What's the CAPPAC for? What's the purpose of that?
Well, I mean, in short, we need to raise some money in order to buy advertisements. And why do we need to buy advertisements? In order to help us to secure more pledges for what I've already referred to as our Bernie or Bust pledge. We need to run ads, particularly next year, in order to tell Democrats it's going to be Bernie or else, okay? And if we, of course, don't inform Democrats of that loudly and clearly, then all we would really be doing would be to be helping elect a Republican. So we have to raise money. Our intention is to ensure that Sanders secures the Democratic nomination. In order to do that, we got to drive up our pledge numbers. In order to do that, we have to buy ads, and we have to raise some money to buy those ads.
Why don't you describe for us the what is exactly the Bernie or Bust pledge? Explain that.
Well, it's a lot what it sounds like. Bernie or Bust, also known as the Bernie or Else pledge. It's a write-in campaign where people are pledging to write in Sanders in the general election if he's not the Democratic nominee. Now, what's the real force of that? What is that designed to do? That is designed to compel Democrats to make Bernie the nominee or else, okay? Or
it sounds like you might be dividing the American liberal progressive left and making it easier for the Republicans to win the general election next year. How is that not the case?
Well, it could sound that way, but that's really an erroneous interpretation. It's up to the Democrats to make sure that their party is unified.
On your website, you make the case for a voucher program for campaign financing as an ideal, as opposed to public financing of elections. Do you have any other areas of disagreement with Senator Sanders? Because he does support public finance of elections.
Well, sure. I mean, while we as individuals, the individuals that make up Revolt Against Plutocracy, while we as individuals may not agree with every vote, for example, that Bernie has taken as a member of Congress, it is the straight out public financing that we take issue with as RAP, as Revolt Against Plutocracy. We do take issue with that with Bernie. Sanders, of course, supports public financing of elections. Most of the American left agrees with that concept, but frankly, we think it's immoral to force the left, to force the taxes of the left to have to go to supporting right-wing candidates for office, and vice versa. We think a better way would be a synthesis of public financing with a voucher program, and that's part of our agenda.
Back to the Bernie or Bust pledge, how do you expect to ever get 1 million people to take the Bernie or Bust pledge in the next really 2 or 3 months?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a tall order, but our marketing, we have a marketing plan, and it's borrowed from network marketing, modeled on network marketing. Look, everyone pledges to write in Bernie. You take the pledge, you're pledging to write in Bernie in the general election if he doesn't get the nomination, as I already said. But what they also got to do is every pledge taker is also pledging to recruit 2 more people to do the same. Okay, and if we end up doubling the number of pledges every week between now and the end of the year, then we will have well over 1 million pledges. And so that's exactly how. We're active promoting that, as I've already said, on Facebook, on Twitter, and we've already gotten some coverage on Reddit and on Ring of Fire. We're over 15,000 pledges right now. Once we reach 20,000, we're going to do another media blast, reach out to our media contacts, and so on.
On your website, you cite Chris Hedges claiming that Sanders has, by running as a Democrat, he's cut a Faustian bargain. Do you think that this strategy would open left-wing critics of Senator Sanders up to actually taking the pledge and expressing a willingness to write in him for president if the Republicans, or I'm sorry, if the Democratic voters end up nominating Hillary Clinton?
Well, I certainly think that left-wing critics should embrace our strategy. So far, they haven't. We consider them to be people like Chris Hedges that you mentioned. We consider them to be counter-revolutionaries, not much better than the counter-revolutionaries that we have in the form of corporate neoliberals.
So the 2 parties basically seem to be neoliberal, right? Can you elaborate on the similarities between the establishment Democrats and the establishment Republicans in this regard?
Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe there's some differences, slight differences on wedge issues and whatnot. But frankly, we're talking about what Charles Ferguson calls the political duopoly. There are no majorly significant differences between these 2 establishment parties today. They are, again, a political duopoly. And that term, again, from Charles Ferguson, he's the director of Inside Job and the author of Predator Nation. That's a term that he coined for the cooperation of Democrats and Republicans with Wall Street to let Wall Street essentially have its way and pass un-American trade deals like NAFTA and CAFTA, and now what we're looking at in terms of the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Appreciate your time. Is there any last statement you'd like to convey to our listeners?
Well, thanks, Victor. Sanders supporters need to take the Bernie or Bust pledge. If they don't, Sanders probably is not going to secure the Democratic nomination.
All right. Thanks for your time, Charlie. We appreciate it.
Thank you.